For macaroni cheese, I've got 100 grams of pasta. I don't have macaroni at home, I've got whole wheat pasta. I've got 100 grams of cheese, 250 mils of milk, 25 grams of margarine and 25 grams of flour. I've got a saucepan of water which I'm already bringing up to the boil, and I'm just going to pop the pasta into the boiling water to cook while I then start the sauce. And this sauce is nice and straightforward. This is an all-in-one sauce. So I've got a small saucepan and I need to put my milk, okay, all of the milk, the butter and the flour into the saucepan. And because I'm at home and I'm doing cheese, I'm also going to add a little bit of dry mustard. You won't necessarily be given dry mustard at school because of allergies, but I like to add a little bit of dry mustard in with the cheese sauce because it helps to bring out the flavour. And before I do anything with that, I'm just going to grate the cheese on the biggest side of the grater. And when my cheese is grated, I'm going to divide it up so that I have some for the sauce and some for the top of the macaroni cheese. And when you're grating, if you can remember, keep your hand flat, not with your fingers like that, and it makes it easier to grate things. It's much harder to grate your fingers if you keep them flat, and you're also much less likely to grate a nail. So there we go, that's the cheese grated, and I just need to divide this up. So I need a little bit of cheese for the top, so about 1/4 for the top, and the rest of the cheese to go into the sauce. To make the sauce by the all-in-one method, you need to whisk all the ingredients together on the heat until they're boiled, and you need to whisk carefully, trying not to splash too much of your sauce on the cooker, but also if you stop whisking, the flour will settle to the bottom and you'll get lumps in this sauce. So as soon as the milk starts to warm up, you'll see that the margarine will start melting, and you need to make sure that you get right into the corners of your saucepan and you're not just stirring in the middle. Make sure you get right up into the corners, and you can see the margarine is starting to melt. So it's actually melting, and you can see it on the top of the sauce, and as the sauce cooks, that will get absorbed into there quite easily. The pasta's on the back ring, just bubbling away gently while this is cooking. And as soon as this comes up to the boil, it should thicken. Once it's boiled, it won't get any thicker. So as soon as it's boiled, you'll know if you've got your proportions of ingredients right. But once it comes up to the boil and the flour grains gelatinise, that's as thick as it's going to get. There we go. I can see that it's starting to thicken already. The flour is absorbing some of the milk, and this is starting to thicken. And once it's boiled, you just need to turn the heat down and just finish cooking the flour through. So there we go. That's starting to thicken. You can see as I'm stirring it, it doesn't take long, and if I stop stirring now, that's bubbling. So I'm just going to turn it down and cook this for a couple of minutes, just to cook the flour through, but I'm going to keep stirring it for 2 minutes while it's cooking. Okay, the sauce is cooked for 2 minutes, so while it's still hot, I've just taken it off the heat, and I'm just going to stir in 2/3 of the cheese, and you do this off the heat. And the heat from the sauce where it's boiled and cooked should be enough to just melt the cheese through. So if you just whisk it in, it should just melt through without leaving any lumps. And you should have a nice smooth sauce still. Before I do anything else, I just need to taste this. At the moment there's no salt and pepper or anything else in it because I don't know how salty the cheese is. So give it a taste and then season if you need to. And I think that could do with a little bit of salt. Okay, so I've seasoned and tasted that again, and that's fine. I have my cooked pasta, and now I'm going to swap to a spoon because if I put my pasta in with the whisk, it does tend to get stuck in the whisk. And please remember, when you're draining your pasta, put the colander in the sink and pour the boiling water over in the sink. So just stir this together so that the pasta is completely coated, and then you can put it into your dishes. And for me, I'm going to put it in, it'll actually fit in one dish. I wasn't sure if it would fit in one or two, but it'll go in one dish. So that's fine, it can all go together into the one dish, and then before it goes under the grill or into the oven to brown, you just need to finish off the top. So saucepan in to soak. Even though the sauce hasn't caught on that saucepan, it's always a good idea to put it into soak straight away, make it easy to clean. Finish off the top of your macaroni cheese or pasta cheese with the leftover cheese, and that will brown in the oven. And if you're bringing your own container in from home, which you should be for this, it'd be good if you've got an oven-proof container, and then you won't have to move this when you get home. And if you want to, you can garnish with a bit of tomato. So I'm just going to slice a tomato and put a few bits of tomato on the top as well for garnish, just down the middle of the dish while that goes into either a hot oven or under a grill just to brown it off. And when it comes out of the oven or grill, this was bubbling a moment ago, but your cheese should be melted and your tomatoes should be cooked.